Coming up on Extreme Yachts, we check in with the crew at Northern Marine as they build a 95-foot vessel that combines the luxury of a classic motor yacht with the fuel efficiency and power of a long-range cruiser.
They're ocean-going vessels built for a very discerning group of owners.
Then we head to the Sunshine State to see how the craftsmen at Chris Craft create some of the most lavish and enduring sea vessels to grace the water.
They're truly, truly some of the most beautiful boats and yachts that anyone can produce in the world.
And finally, we enter a world of extreme luxury and splendor as the team at Richmond Yachts constructs a 150-foot, $24 million aquatic castle.
It's Canada's largest private yacht being constructed in Canada.
And it's all happening right here on Extreme Yachts. Since the dawn of time, man has attempted to conquer the sea. They built boats to fish, explore, and eventually cross oceans, driven by necessity and an adventurous spirit. But their boats were nothing more than a means of travel. Boy, have times changed. Say hello to the Extreme Yacht. These 5-star aquatic mansions are opulent, robust, and currently redefining the world of luxury on the 7 seas. Just outside Vancouver, British Columbia, Richmond Yachts has made a name for themselves building long-range luxury vessels that take the elegance and opulence of a grand estate and put it in the water.
A whole yacht this size is basically its own little floating city.
When you're up into this level, it's usually better than the people's homes.
That's why it's so expensive.
The team at Richmond has built their business model around creating the absolute and extreme mega yachts.
I think really what makes a yacht extreme is its capability more than anything else. To make an extreme yacht is something that's trouble-free, able to go anywhere, do anything, and leave the owner with a smile on his face.
Since 2003, Richmond Yachts has been setting the standard in beauty, durability, and size.
Richmond Yachts rose from the ashes of another company.
The Canadian government, they came and said, hey, look, why don't you just take over the yard?
We got it, and the tools, and that's how we started.
And now, after years of development, they've honed their style and settled on one specific type of vessel.
I mean, they're just beautiful yachts.
And say hello to Richmond's latest project, the ironically named Status Quo.
It's Canada's largest private yacht being constructed in Canada.
150 foot.
And it's hard to believe that this Goliath started as a few design lines on paper.
Okay, so talk a little bit about how we're going to approach this new project. What do you think about a helicopter pad?
That'd be
Can you
phenomenal.
pull that off?
Are we going to have bigger staterooms? Are we going to have more? What's going to happen with that?
We can't go with more staterooms because we're only regulated for 20 people on the boat. We can only hold 12 passengers and 8 crew without massive changes.
Oh, what about a commercial galley? You know, we can do a big commercial
Galley would be good. That's a good idea.
The Status Quo will be comprised of 4 distinct levels. On the first lower level, we find the 2 massive Detroit diesel engines, crew quarters, and 4 plush guest rooms. Then just up the custom-built staircase is the main level, complete with a commercial-sized galley, an enormous master stateroom, and a master bath with all the comforts of a luxury hotel. The third level, or Sky Lounge, features a full bar and a Vegas-style gambling table. And just outside on the sun deck, there's a huge grill and barbecue area with a dining section with room to accommodate 12 people. And finally, at the very top of it all is the fun deck, with its full-sized hot tub and helicopter pad. This is definitely the extreme when it comes to luxury on the high seas.
We got to get going. We don't have much time. It all goes quick.
The first step was to create the hull structure using one of their absolutely massive steel molds.
What we're standing in right now is the hull mold.
The mold was designed to house a 135-foot hull, but for this project, the team added a 15-foot extension. And once the fiberglass had set, the entire structure had to be disassembled in order to remove the fresh hull in one piece.
Most people can't believe that something this big can be fiberglass. I mean, enormous set of molds that they are made out of.
Once separated from the mold, a customized semi-truck transported the 150-foot hull to the finishing facility where it currently resides. And because the yacht was so long, the team actually had to cut notches into the door just to fit it into the building. And when creating an ocean-going vessel of this size and scope, it's important to ensure the occupants enjoy a safe and smooth ride.
Right now they're attaching a bulbous bow to the front of the boat. It does create a smoother ride. It knocks the wave down on the front. It's like they use on large freighters. They'll dry fit it first, drop it down, make sure it all works. Then we'll put a bonding agent in between the 2 surfaces. And then they'll glass 20 units of glass that goes on the whole thing on the process later on. And it will not move.
Another thing, this extreme yacht is being constructed for the owner of Richmond Yachts, so it's important that the company builds one of their best yachts to date. And just a little trip south in Anacortes, Washington, Northern Marine Yachts, who like their Canadian neighbors, are in the business of creating jaw-dropping opulence on the high seas, are getting ready to dive into their newest project, a 90-foot maritime mansion. This amazing vessel will include everything they could possibly need to be considered a self-sustained nautical city, except maybe a post office. Founded in 1995, Northern Marine began their foray into the industry by constructing commercial fishing trawlers. But as they observed developing trends in the luxury craft market, they updated their mission to creating high-class yachts built on their already solid commercial infrastructure.
They're really catching on. People like the whole robust, just big, brute-looking yacht.
They're ocean-going vessels built for a very discerning group of owners.
I mean, on the exterior, it looks like it's ready to go up and fish Alaska. On the interior, it's a different ballgame.
The sky is the limit in terms of options and what we can do with these boats.
And they're about to prove it once again. There's nothing they can't do as the team gets together to discuss the plans for their latest project.
Met with the client, went over the drawings and a couple things. He's definitely interested in having a larger bar. He said he wants to be able to seat at least 6 people.
Typically, the people that we're building boats for, they're used to this level. There's a lot of personal preference. A lot of times these owners will have owners' reps or captains that make those decisions for them. We get that information and we move forward with whatever it is that they want.
This tailor-made 95-foot yacht features a 20.5-foot beam, fully stocked galley, opulent salon, plush master stateroom, and guest accommodations comparable to a 5-star boutique hotel. The bridge is on the cutting edge of modern nautical navigation, computer-controlled and operated, allowing for long-range travels. The back of the bridge deck features room for a 28-foot fishing boat or any other aquatic toys the owner might desire. This is truly the height of maritime living.
This is hands down going to be the nicest trawler we've ever built out of this company.
Yeah.
And with the fiberglass hull already constructed, the next step is to crane in the engine.
So this morning we rolled the boat outside in preparation for putting the main power plant in. She's a single engine, Caterpillar marine diesel. She's a commercial rated engine, which means she's continuous duty, designed to run 365 days a year, 24 hours a day.
Richmond Yachts are known for setting the standard and creating enormous waterbound mansions.
The original design for this series of yachts was 138. 10 years ago, the yacht length just kept growing and growing and growing, and so we decided to keep growing along with it.
Their latest project sees them embarking on the beginning phases of a 150-foot aquatic colossus.
It's over 6,000 square feet on 4 decks. So when you think about a 6,000 square foot house, yeah, it's enormous.
And with the hull already constructed, the team gets to work fabricating the custom woodwork.
In a lot of ways, he couldn't build it in a more difficult way. All the exotic layer upon layer crown moldings, all throughout almost every room in the boat. A lot of inlay woodworking, a lot of marquetry. And built for the sake of the art of it almost as much as it is because you think that's simply what someone wants to buy.
Every piece that we do here is custom made. It's all drawn up in the office upstairs, and then these craftspeople basically take over.
And the material of choice here at Richmond is an African hardwood called sapele.
That's the basic wood for this boat. It's very easy to work with. It's very, very hard. We use basically the solid wood, and a lot of it, in various sizes, and we also use the veneer. A lot of people think that veneer work makes the work somehow inferior. It's much more expensive than solid wood, much more labor-intensive and beautiful. In terms of environment and using the whole tree, veneer is really, really a good way to go.
It's fairly tricky. You have to be very detail-oriented and very precise. I'm going to apply some glue to this plywood, and then I'm going to put the veneer on it, and we're going to put it in the press. That will cure the glue in about 2 or 3 minutes. Normally it would take 20 minutes to half an hour to cure, so this speeds up the process quite a bit.
And while the interior paneling is mostly comprised of sapele and veneer, the exterior deck is laid out with a classic and durable teak.
The teak, the decking, is the first thing that you see. It is the eye candy of the boat. On a boat this size, it takes about 5,000 hours to put the decking together and install it on the boat. It all starts with rough lumber, and then we saw it all up into small little strips, and we look for a very specific type of grain. Once we get all of our stripping cut, then we assemble it into pieces with spacers, and then we'll get an epoxy glue, epoxy the back side of the panels. This has the epoxy backing on it, so that the whole panels stay together. We can move it around, we can carry it to the boat, we can install. We fill all the seams by hand with the liquid rubber. Let it cure for about 2 or 3 days, sand some more, and we have that product. and then we get into the finished product.
And once all the decking is complete and installed on the shell, the crew makes room on one of the other upper aft decks for a tow hinge, which can pull an additional sloop, which by its own right is pretty extreme.
Typically on a boat like this, when you're chartering, you'll be towing a 35-foot contender or something of that nature along with you to take the guests for rides. It's a whole nother world.
And that whole other world is exemplified in the iconic heritage of veteran boat builders Chris Craft. These boats may be smaller, oftentimes being used as a taxi service for larger mega yachts, but they still embody what it means to be extreme.
There's many, many boating brands, but Chris Craft is the one that evokes feelings and imagery of the Kennedys and Hemingway and Key West. The company was founded in 1874 by a guy named Chris Smith. Over the course of his life, he built really the first recreational boat company. His grandson, Harson Smith, he took over the company and really created the recreational boating lifestyle for the American public.
Even though the company switched from making their boats with wood to fiberglass around 1972, they still strive for the type of excellence that Chris Smith started 150 years ago.
They're truly, truly some of the most beautiful boats and yachts that anyone can produce in the world.
And someone that grew up around Chris Craft, eventually working for them and who knows the impact they've had on the industry, is one of the founder's grandsons, also named Chris Smith.
They are gorgeous. I've ridden in a few of them, but they are pricey. At least I've had a lot of fun with the money.
With the headquarters located in Sarasota, Florida, the crew building these amazing watercraft are seasoned veterans.
There's incredible know-how in this building for pretty much every aspect of boat building, from fiberglass to upholstery to cabinetry to wiring harness construction. We manufacture the entire boat here.
Craftsmanship that goes on in a 20-foot or a 36-foot or a 100-footer is still very, very much the same.
The team at Chris Craft fabricate their components in-house. There is no deviation from the original schematic that strives for nothing short of excellence.
This is what we call infusion. We will open that valve right there. You will see the resin travel through all these cavities right here to go into the part. And that's when the part will dry, then we will pull the inserts. This is a finished part come out of the mold. It's a nice finished looking part.
And back at Northern Marine, the team is preparing to embark on their latest project, a 95-foot expedition yacht for a client with a passion for deep-sea fishing and aquatic entertaining.
To this date, we've built 3 84-foot trawlers, so at 95 feet, this will be the largest full displacement trawler-style yacht that we've built.
And with the hull constructed and the power plant in place, this milestone project is well underway. And with a build this size, the list of tasks seems endless.
There's probably half a dozen different trades that we oversee. You got lamination, you got electrical, mechanical, plumbing, carpentry. It's pretty challenging, actually, keeping everything tracking on the same course. You got to make sure that one trade's not overstepping another one. It's a big puzzle we're putting together here.
Unlike many manufacturers, Northern Marine assembles their yachts in modules. Each room is fully constructed and wired before eventually being lowered into the hull.
So right now we're lifting the lower interior module. We're going to drive it outside, pick it up, and drop it in the boat. It's a little bit different than what's traditionally done in yachts. Traditionally, you would build the interior. We've chosen to use this method for 2 reasons. It's safer for our employees. They don't have to go up and down as many stairs. It also speeds up the build process. We're able to build things concurrently where we're building the interior while we're laminating the hull at the same time. So it's a much more efficient means of construction, and the employees feel a lot better at the end of the day.
When we come back, we'll check back in with Richmond as they continue to construct their monstrous nautical mansion.
The most extreme drill that I've worked with, that's for sure.
And the crew at Northern Marine comes a few steps closer to putting their 95-foot rugged and robust vessel into the water.
Boat's getting closer to launch.
Welcome back to Extreme Yachts. Back up in Canada, the 150-foot Richmond Titan is midway through construction, and at the current stage, the yacht's exterior is being coated in body filler and sanded down to smooth out any imperfections. Inside, the crew is finishing the installation of the complex operating systems that will keep this vessel confidently cruising the 7 seas.
Come on board, let's go check it out. All right, as we walk through here, we're down to the main engineer area. This is the main electrical switchboard for the entire ship. Now, this is what keeps the ship alive during operation. The air conditioning panels. We need to have the ship cooled off 67 degrees pretty much constantly all the time.
And keeping these systems up and running is the yacht's massive power plant.
As we walk through from the engineer area down to the main engine room, we have 2 67 kW generators, and this is what supplies power for the ship. Engines are supposed to be here. We'll be dropping them right through our entire deck.
And with all the vital systems in play on this enormous yacht, everything must work in harmony. And Richmond spares no expense to ensure perfection.
This is what supplies our salt water system to cool off engine generators and various type of machinery that needs cooling. And it'll all go through the main, what they call a crossover bypass. Just this flange alone is about $8,000. The rest of the pipe, you don't want to know.
And back in the shop, veteran carpenter Thor is prepping one of the interior walls for the electricians.
I'm setting up to make a wire chase down for a light switch inside of a Nitacore wall. There's so many advantages of working with this material. Strength, lightweight, it redirects sound, keeps things a little bit quieter. And you can see here the honeycomb material after I've taken out the switch plate, precisely where it needs to be. And now I can watch the drill bit come through and get in here. And after I get the proper depth with the drill bit, I'll be able to come in and remove the excess honeycomb material. And now the fun begins. It's the most extreme drill bit I've worked with, that's for sure.
And with the Nitacore drilled out, the first of the countless handcrafted walls is installed, allowing the electricians to begin wiring the light switches and outlets. And while Richmond continues assembling their mega yacht, let's head down south to Anacortes, Washington to check in with the team at Northern Marine as they embark on their largest project to date.
Our 95-footer is going to be built with a specific intention of going fishing, going out with a group of guys, having a good time over the weekend, entertaining guests, family, and friends. We have a large boat deck. It's going to house a custom-built 26-foot diesel tender on this side and a 14-foot hard-bottom inflatable on this side. This is a 5,000-pound capacity crane. It will lift your fishing boat at your destination, put it in the water for you.
And just above the boat deck is the fly bridge, which will include everything the customer needs for entertaining. And its construction is just underway.
So this is our fly bridge. We're using a slightly less traditional layup method of construction called bead and cove. This method of construction utilizes CNC cut frames to maintain accuracy and building a one-off part without using a female mold. We've shaped the core over the frames. We'll do 2 layers of structural foam core. We'll then glass the outside before flipping the part over, removing the frames and glassing the inside. This reduces cost and time and makes for a more efficient build process.
And while the fiberglass is laid out, the welding team fabricates the stainless steel frame for the Venturi windshield.
This was patterned off of a CAD drawing that gives us the exact footprint. We're putting this all together. We're going to go ahead and mount it, and then we're putting Lexan shield there. And when they're up on the boat, it basically keeps the wind off of them.
And below deck, the extensive battery systems are being installed, which supply enough power to keep the entire vessel running while the generators are shut down.
These are 2-volt cell batteries. They weigh 276 pounds each. They're 1,635 amp-hour batteries. They combine to make a 24-volt cell. And the reason why we're doing these is these last longer, they're gel cell, and they're maintenance-free.
And for a boat designed to trek around the world, it needs all the power it can get.
These boats just plow through the water. This is a 9 to 10 knot boat.
And to keep the ride smooth and comfortable, Northern Marine employs a clever trick to add extra stabilizing weight.
Right now we're in one of the bilges of the yacht. Beneath us, inside this bilge, is 60,000 pounds of lead ballast. These are actual 9mm bullets cast in resin.
You can be in a heavy sea and not get beat up too bad.
Chris Kraft, back in Sarasota, Florida, is taking the old and making it new.
That's what basically our style now, make it look like a wood boat, the style built out of fiberglass.
The transition going from wood into fiberglass started in the early 70s.
It's easier to build a hull out of fiberglass than it is out of wood. It requires less man hours, and you wind up with a finished product that lasts longer without the need for a lot of care.
The first step is to mold the ultra-durable fiberglass hull and deck of the boat.
This is what we call the mold repair area. Every mold come in here, get checked out, go in there, get cleaned up, and then we go in what we call the mold care room. And we can put a cut of wax. That makes sure the part release from the mold.
After the mold has cured, it's gel-coated, which accounts for the base colors on the outer shell of the hull.
This is a 2-color boat. We will get the first color shot, pull the fine line, then that joker got to dry before we go to the second color. After that, then this boat will go into what we call the lamination area.
And here the entire deck and hull get a layer of fiberglass to create the boat's watertight foundation. The first layer is a skin coat whereby large spools of fiberglass are machine shredded and applied using a spray gun. The following layer is laid out by hand and coated in resin. And once the deck and hull are completely formed and dried, the crew can finally separate it from the mold.
We got all the hull laminate, all the stringers in. It's ready to be pulled right now.
Owning an extreme yacht is wonderful, yes. But sometimes the price of advertising your wealth, like owning a Richmond yacht, can make you a target.
Of course, with a boat this size, you know, we're dealing with almost $30 million worth of machinery, plus the people on the boat, plus all the goodies they bring with them. They may, you know, very well have jewelry and crazy cash. You park a helicopter on here, a few boats. Some people, they'll crane on a Ferrari or something like that, and there is a plethora of people out there that'll want to come along, shoot holes in this thing, take it over, and you got to have some security personnel, some security weapons. I'm working on firearm storage. This is one of many firearm storages on the boat. It's fine woodwork. I'm trying to get it to fit like a glove. This particular cabinet is going to be an unfinished but sanded cedar veneer. It's going to last a lifetime.
Being fully protected out on the water allows the client the opportunity to enjoy the features and design cues on their yacht, like the hand-fabricated accent pieces that disguise structural beams.
If I do everything right, I should just be able to go boom like that, and it'll be perfectly tight fitting joint at the top and the bottom. What I'll do is I'll take the jigsaw and I'll cut really close to this line, and then I'm going to take the grinder and I'm going to finish to the line.
And now with the final woodwork going in, the engine's installed and tested. Countless miles of wiring tying the whole thing together, Canada's largest fiberglass yacht is on its way to final assembly. In Anacortes, Washington, Northern Marine is closing in on their own test phase for this massive expedition yacht. But before they get this thing in the water, let's get a little update on the progress.
So right now we're in our 95-foot yacht. We have telecommunications, satellite TV. We really have everything that you need to be self-sufficient out on the water for long periods of time.
And you may be wondering how the clients who suffer from motion sickness cope with life on the water. Well, the team at Northern Marine has thought of everything.
These are roll stabilizers that help keep the boat from pitching side to side. If the boat wants to start to pitch one way, these roll stabilizers turn the opposite direction. If they sense roll, they right the boat.
And on the bridge deck, the navigation systems are being hooked up.
We are in the pilot house. I am installing the electronics, making everything work, hooking up power and turning everything on, making sure it all talks to one another, have charts for anywhere in the world, basically, at the click of a mouse. Really amazing how far the chart plotters have come.
We're at about probably 90% completion. You know, we've got our flooring are done, we've got carpet throughout the boat now, we've got all of our stone installed throughout the galley and the bars and everything. The exciting part of it is that when all that stuff is in place, and you can start putting all the finishing touches on it.
But before all those accessories and finishing touches are added, it's time to test fire the engine systems.
So we're here in the engine room. What we're gonna go ahead and do at this point in the game is push the go button on the engine, light it up, and then we'll test our steering and everything else. We'll light her up here. We're gonna go ahead and test all of our stations at this point in the game. Okay, Dave, we're gonna go ahead and bump the pilot house control into forward. Are you ready?
Roger, we're ready. Clock turn counterclockwise.
All right, very good. I'm gonna move over to the port side control. Okay, Dave, we're good. So that pretty much completes all the testing at the stations. We're real happy with that. Boat's getting closer to launch.
And from the Pacific Northwest all the way back to sunny southern Florida, let's check back in with the crew at Chris Craft.
We made the transition from our lamination process, from the pulling process, all the way through final finishing. Meanwhile, while all that's occurring, we also have in these steps in our sub-assembly shops many, many operations going on that will in turn feed product that go on to the final application and assembly.
Including the handcrafted upholstery.
This is our upholstery shop. We do everything in-house as far as the upholstery goes, from the bucket seats to the V-berth, comforters, drapes. It definitely takes talent to do what we do. It is very intricate.
But before they can finish all the upholstery and accessories, they need to install the 400-plus horses that'll make this thing run.
Chris Craft incorporates up to the 400-plus horsepower motors in many of our boats. and it makes them run extremely well.
I believe in not worrying about those old original engines. Put new power in it if you really want to use your boat, so you've got something that you can depend upon.
We come into what we call our final assembly operation, and that's where we actually put on all the rub rails, the rest of the interior upholstery. We do all the final propulsion hookup, electrical hookups. Then we will go out to the water. We test every single boat so that we make sure that they function correctly for the customer prior to shipment.
Up next, Northern Marine's 95-foot rugged and luxurious expedition yacht is ready for the open water.
This is the penthouse. This is the place to be.
Then, we've seen what it takes to construct a classic Chris Craft sports boat. Now it's time to see the finished product. You won't want to miss this. Welcome back to Extreme Yachts. We've watched as the team at Northern Marine of Anacortes, Washington designed and constructed their latest masterpiece. From the hull assembly to the countless miles of electrical wiring, all the way to their state-of-the-art command center, these aquatic craftsmen have spared no expense to create one amazing machine. And now it's finally time for the newly christened expedition yacht Atlas to head out onto the waters for her first test run.
Today we're doing sea trials. We're about 99.9% complete, just getting ready to pass the boat on to the owner and take final delivery. So I hope you guys enjoy the ride.
And with these kinds of accommodations, it'd be hard not to.
This is the aft deck. It's just another exterior entertaining space where the guests can come out and enjoy a drink or a cup of coffee in the morning. There's also an aft docking station, so coming into a dock stern to, you have another full control station back here. Now we're on the boat deck. This is kind of a distinct feature to an expedition-style boat. You carry your tenders and toys up here, so we're actually building a custom 26-foot diesel I.O. tender that's going to sit up here. We have a 5,000-pound capacity crane and another diesel rib tender, hard-bottom inflatable. This is the penthouse. This is the place to be. You've got a hot tub. We have a drop-down TV that comes out of the overhead. There's a clear area forward to the hard top for chaise lounges so people can be in the sun. 48-inch wide barbecue. We've got an ice maker up here, a refrigerator, freezer, really everything that you need to have a good time.
And traveling down to the main deck, we get our first look at the amazingly designed and finished main salon.
It's a pretty decadent area. We built a custom bar. We added a drop-down TV from the overhead. We've got seating for all the guests, the dining room, and the galley, all in this central space. This is the main entertaining space on the boat.
The galley even employs a modern version of an old-style dumbwaiter, often found in multi-level homes of the 1920s, which makes deliveries from the galley to the Sky Lounge all the way up to the sun deck. The main salon is a showcase of Northern Marine's proficiency with their high-end woodwork. This exquisite spiral staircase is practically a work of art.
A lot of really talented people who were involved in this set of stairs, which leads us into the Sky Lounge. This is another entertaining space that's great on the boat. You have a panoramic view, a lot of sunlight. There'll be a card table up here. There's entertainment, there's televisions, there's a wet bar. This is really where you come to have a great time up above.
And from the classy Sky Lounge, we head down to the master stateroom.
It's on the main level. It's full beam, which means that literally the master stateroom is from side to side, the full beam of the boat. A king-size bed. There's 2 walk-in closets. There's a desk and a makeup center.
But no master stateroom would be complete without a beautiful and spacious master bath.
We really went over the top on the granite work and the marble work, added a whirlpool jacuzzi tub and radiant in-floor heat.
And descend another staircase off the main salon to the lower deck to find 3 more luxurious staterooms.
In the foyer, there's a coffee center. There's a full-size fridge freezer. There's also some nice accent lighting above, a custom inlay in the marble floor. We've got 3 staterooms down below that have queen-size bunks in them with ensuite heads. They've got flat-screen televisions, full cable entertainment systems, hanging locker space, and all the luxury and creature comforts you'd have at home. There's a full laundry center with a laundry sink. And one of my favorite features over here that's actually a flip-down treadmill with a TV behind it.
And up at the bow of this colossus is the state-of-the-art pilot house.
This is the business end of the boat. We're fly-by-wire. We're telling the engine what to do, the steering to the rudder, everything what to do from right here. We have 2 radars. I have one sitting here at 1 mile range, and one sitting at 2 mile range. If I was in a little more open water, I'd take that out to 3 or 4, maybe even 16 miles if I was out in the ocean. You see all these little triangles on the radar? Those are boats. Those are ships coming at us. They have a new system, which is this thing up here called AIS. We're transmitting just like an airplane. We're transmitting a beacon. If you look on the chart here, it says a chart plotter. So it tells us real time exactly where we are in relation to a map. This is fairly new stuff. A couple years ago, we never had anything quite this nice. It's taken some of the work out of a captain's job, actually. No more paper charts, no more dividers, no more rulers.
And because the Atlas is a sophisticated expedition yacht capable of traveling over 5,000 nautical miles in a single stretch, the lower deck and engine room has to compare in strength and capacity to the elegance and craftsmanship up above. With its 850 horsepower Cat diesel engine leading the charge, its high-powered onboard generators, its collection of high-tech power inverters and cutting-edge sewage treatment system, all the way to the desalinization setup, which turns seawater into fresh drinking water. This massive, versatile yacht is the perfect marriage of rugged adventure and extreme luxury. And from the overwhelmingly huge to the deceptively small, we head back to Sarasota, Florida to check out the Chris Craft Launch 32 as it cuts through wakes and turns heads, proving that an extreme yacht can come in all shapes and sizes. And at 32 feet long with a 10-foot beam, it can comfortably accommodate anyone looking to spend a night on the water.
What we did is we designed a nice small little cabin. It's outfitted with a mattress and nice upholstery and pillow detail. So it's comfortable for overnighters. We've got a small head compartment right in here, plenty of room inside, a sink. Moving aft in the boat to the helm area, you've got a nice double helm companion seat. The boat's gonna run a little 2 degrees up, so you're gonna be looking right through the windshield, or if you prefer, you can raise the thigh rise and look over the windshield. You've got duplicate gauges for both port and starboard engines. You've got a power seat to be able to move the seat forward if you like. And this boat is also equipped with the Volvo joystick option. These are also Volvo gauges, which are redundant of this, but it gives you neat features like fuel burn, hours, and how much time you've had on the water. Neat stuff. You've got a small glove box here. You have a USB port, and then you also have a 12-volt receptacle inside. Then your stereo system here with the remote on the helm side. We've got a stainless steel drawer-style refrigerator right here, which is really neat. This utilizes the space underneath the backside of the seat here. And then underneath here, you've got a huge amount of storage.
And yet another clever use of space is the feature hidden under the engine bay cover.
We've concealed the bimini top underneath the engine box hatch. You pick it up straight up out of the motor box well, and then simply let the engine hatch back down. It also allows us to move this cushion and bring up the cockpit table. The Volvo 320 GXIs are small blocks, which pushes this boat north of 50 miles an hour. You've got a water heater to the starboard side over here. We've got the automatic halon system. If there's too much heat in the bilge, it automatically extinguishes the fire.
On heading aft to the engine compartment, we've got a good-sized swimming platform loaded with goodies for extreme water adventures.
You've got your dockside power inlet here. Right here, you've got a push button. That's for water skiing and your ski rope type line. You flip up this stainless steel lid, and you've got your hot and cold running shower. So when you get out of the water, you can shower off. And then you've got a nice pop-up cleat here on the stern. The Launch 32 has all the craftsmanship and amenities of an extreme yacht.
And that's the final word from the guys at Chris Craft. We've watched as the crew at Richmond Yachts designed and built a colossal floating palace. From the hull construction to the dual-engine propulsion systems, all the way up to the handcrafted details in the woodwork. And now this maritime mansion is complete and ready to make the ocean just a little more beautiful. At 150 feet, the newly named Status Quo is an impressive presence on the water. Its tri-deck's 28-foot beam and over 6,000 square feet of livable space make it the largest fiberglass yacht in Canadian history. Just stepping on board, the lavish and exquisite combinations bombard the senses. This is opulence to the extreme.
We've got a beautiful table here on hydraulics that comes up and goes down. You can use it for a coffee table or pull it up, put a leaf in it, and serve 14 people dinner sitting there.
And from the lower deck lounge and dining area, we step into the main salon.
This is one of the second things you see as you come aboard the vessel, and it has incorporated almost every woodwork feature that the woodworkers at the yard have is on this boat.
With motorized shades, pop-up flat screens, and countless elegant accessories, this main salon could be found in the lobby of a high-end posh hotel. Adjacent to this grand living area is the absolutely huge galley.
More of a commercial type galley, being that the owner has been in the food business and restaurant business most of his adult life, and he loves to cook himself. They've got a nice commercial stove and commercial fridges and freezers and There's a bun warmer under the island here and a steamer for vegetables and lobster tails, a double dishwasher over there. We have a camera on the tables where they can know when to go out and swap salad plates. My wife wishes our kitchen looked like this.
Just off of the main salon, a starboard hallway leads to the master stateroom. But on the way, there are examples of Richmond's efficient and stylish use of every available space.
Right here's the main stairway that goes up and down through 3 levels with our wine cooler over here, and we're heading towards the master stateroom. Here we are in the screening room of the master stateroom, where if your neck gets stiff from laying in bed watching TV, you can sit in a nice lounge chair and watch the big screen TV here. Refrigerator, so you don't even have to go outside your stateroom to get something cold to drink. A big bed, another big screen TV. Behind all of this wall over here is a big, nice cedar-lined walk-in closet. A couple of safes in there as well. Real unusual woodwork here on the panels alongside the bed that really has some pretty grain in it. Almost looks like a leopard or something.
No detail is overlooked on a Richmond yacht. Every nook and corner features something amazing.
Everything you'd need to be comfortable on a super yacht.
Comfortable doesn't even begin to cover it. Just look at this incredible master head. And descending the main staircase to the lower deck, we find sumptuous 5-star accommodations for 8 guests. With 4 well-appointed staterooms, the guests aboard the Status Quo can enjoy their sojourn with all the creative comforts of home.
We have the twins over here, and then we've got a secret passageway here that goes through into the crew area so that the stews and stewards don't have to go all the way up around the stairways.
The use of space on the lower deck is beyond impressive, comfortably housing 10 crew members in a warehouse full of machinery.
Now we're in the engineer's office area here, where we've got all the controls for all the major stuff on the boat.
And just through the watertight door, we enter the heart of the Status Quo, the engine room.
Twin 16-cylinder, 2,000 horsepower MTU Detroit engines. We try and keep it looking like new, because the brighter and shinier it is, the quicker you'll find anything going wrong.
After the crew area, there's a beautiful, spacious teak swimming platform, perfect for laying out or cooling off.
We got a dive locker over here that's got a 10-tank rack in it and a compressor in there for refilling your tanks.
The automatic aft hatch has a 2-foot lip to ensure no water will spill over into the cabin.
They're always thinking about waves coming. So that's why they make this so high here, so that if a wave broke in over the swim platform, it doesn't come rushing down in here.
And if the swimming becomes too strenuous, there's even a massive salon to relax those sore muscles. Both the exterior upper and lower decks feature stylish outdoor dining areas, complete with an AC unit to blow cool air on the tables on those warm summer evenings. Pass through the automatic sliding doors and enter the Sky Lounge, a plush and cultivated space perfect for entertaining or winding down at the end of the night.
It's a pretty comfortable place to be, not far from the action in the wheelhouse. Everything you need right here.
And when the owner needs to break away from the party to get some work done, he can simply retire to the executive office suite. From the refined comforts and overwhelming decadence of the interior to the state-of-the-art wheelhouse, outfitted with the latest in navigation and satellite communications.
This is my office. Got everything I need up here to command a vessel of this size. Quite a difference from what I first started out on. Of course, back then I was running a boat that only drew 3 feet, where this one draws 8.5. So the running of the boat is actually the easiest part of the job these days. All of us captains love it when we actually get to move the boat, because that's the fun part. The rest of the time, it's all paperwork and cleaning.
Just off the wheelhouse, we find the cozy and comfortable captain suite. The flybridge is designed to accommodate a helicopter, boat, or car, or the landing pad can simply be used as an extra sun deck. However, the term flybridge doesn't really apply in this case.
It's no longer the flybridge. We don't have any controls up here. The controls would normally be right where the hot tub is.
Richmond Yachts has created the pinnacle of nautical living. This incredible machine is what the rest of the industry strives to achieve. No matter what a client might desire, the team at Richmond insists they can make any dream come true.
Our yachts are basically like a mansion on water.
We can build with our staff anything. And I don't exaggerate in any way, shape, or form when I say that, you know.
Each of these 3 crafts we've seen are raising the bar in the boating industry. They're all elegant, refined, expertly crafted, and above all, extreme.